According to the International Monetary Fund, the world wastes up to $2 trillion in corruption. That is a significant number, 2% of the world's GDP. India is the most corrupt country in Asia Pacific region, according to a recent study by Transparency International, a Berlin-based NGO working against corruption. Whether it be a worldwide humiliation during the Commonwealth Games or national uproar during the 2G scam, the fraudulent behavior of a few has left the country hapless. Welcome to InFact. Here, we have come up with a list of 10 of the biggest scams that sucked India dry of billions of dollars. Please note that the amount mentioned in the scams is an appropriation. No one knows exact figures. At number 10, we have Vijay Mallya. There was a time when people used to call him the king of good times, but today things are far from being good for him. In 2016, Mallya absconded the country and sought refuge in the UK after he was accused of fraud and money laundering in the country. Vijay Mallya allegedly owes various banks over rupees 9,000 crores, which he had taken as a loan to keep his now defunct Kingfisher Airlines from failing. He was declared a fugitive economic offender under the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act. But what is Mallya up to now? While the Indian government is trying to extradite him from the UK, which does not seem to be happening anytime soon, Mallya, in a series of tweets, asked Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to consider his offer to repay 100% of the amount borrowed by Kingfisher Airlines to the banks. At number 9 is Nirav Modi. Diamonds are a man or woman's best friend, but diamond trees like Nirav Modi are not. One of the most controversial scams, this fraud reportedly took place through Punjab National Bank's Brady House brand. Not just Nirav Modi, his uncle Mehul Choksi and two senior PNB officials were also involved in this fraud. In 2018, PNB filed a case with CBI accusing Nirav Modi and the companies he was connected to of obtaining letters of undertaking from PNB without paying up the margin amount against loans. This meant that if those companies failed to pay the loan, PNB would have had to pay the amount. Punjab National Bank said that its own officials violated rules and issued illegal guarantee documents to help the celebrity jeweler secure credit from the overseas bank branches using Swift financial communication system. The scam occurred between 2009 and 2017. Nirav Modi and his family absconded in early 2018, days before the news of the scam broke in India. Modi is on the Interpol's wanted list for criminal conspiracy, criminal breach of trust, cheating and dishonesty, including delivery of property, corruption, money laundering, since February 2018. In March 2019, Modi was arrested in central London by UK authorities and extradition hearings are in process. Number 8. Satyam Scam. Dubbed as India's Enron scandal, the 2019 corporate scam that shook the Indian investors and shareholders community revolves around B. Ramalinga Raju and his Satyam Computer Services Limited. The company admitted that they kept everyone in the dark for a decade by fudging the books of accounts for several years and inflating revenues and profit figures of Satyam. They misrepresented, manipulated and falsified the accounts of over rupees 14,000 crores in front of its board, stock exchanges, investors and other stakeholders. The CBI investigated the case of Raju along with 10 other members faced imprisonment. Finally, the company was taken over by the Tech Mahindra, which has done wonderfully well to revive the brand Satyam. Number 7. Granite Scam in Tamil Nadu. The granite scam was a corruption scandal that occurred in Tamil Nadu, India. It gained notoriety after former civil servant of Madurai, U. Sagayam, wrote a letter to the Chief Secretary of the State Industries Department on 19th May 2012, reporting major violations by many granite quarries in the Madurai district, estimating a loss of more than 16,000 crore rupees to the state exchequer. Some officials of the state-owned Tamil Nadu Minerals Limited were accused of colluding with companies such as Mojang, allowing them to commit violations. The state government suspended 9 people, including a Tehsildar and Deputy Tehsildar in Madurai. A senior clerk of Tamil Nadu Minerals Limited was arrested. The initial report sent by the Madurai collector at that time, Sagayam, placed the losses to the state government at 16,000 crore rupees. Some of the RTI activists claimed that the losses could be estimated at around 1 lakh crore rupees. PR Palanisamy, owner of PRP Exports and billionaire with political connections, was arrested and his company was sealed. Olympus Granites, allegedly owned by Durai Dayanidhi, son of former Union Minister of the Chemical, M.K. Azagiri, was also accused of illegal quarrying. The report submitted by U. Sagayam stated that 84 private quarries had violated license conditions and taken part in illegal mining. Number 6. Telgi Scam. As they say, every scam must have something unique in it to make money out of it in an unethical manner. And Telgi Scam had all the suspense and drama that the scandal needed to thrive and be busted. This scam seems to be straight out of Hollywood movie. Abdul Karim Telgi had mastered the art of forgery in printing duplicate stamp papers and sold them to banks and other institutions. In 2002, Abdul Karim Telgi was charged for counterfeiting stamp paper in India. He appointed 350 fake agents to sell stamp papers to banks, insurance companies and stock brokerage firms. The scam spread across 12 states and the amount involved was pegged at rupees 200 billion. The investigation revealed that Telgi enjoyed support from various government departments that were involved in the production and sale of high security stamps. One aspect of the scandal that caused much concern was that it required the involvement of many police officers and other government employees. An assistant police investigator was found to have a net worth of rupees 1 billion despite making a salary of only rupees 9,000 per month. Several police officers were implicated in the case. In January 2006, Telgi and several associates were sentenced to 30 years rigorous imprisonment. Number 5. Hawala Scam. The Hawala scandal, also called the Jain Dairies case, was an Indian political and financial scandal involving payments allegedly sent by politicians through 4 Hawala brokers, namely the Jain brothers. It was $18 million bribery scandal that implicated some of the country's leading politicians. The Hawala scandal came to public attention in the 1990s, which also threw spotlight on politicians like L.K. Advani, Arjun Singh, Yashwant Sinha, and Madan Lal Khurana, and more who were said to be involved in the bribery. This scam revolved around the Hawala brothers who were linked to a raid on terrorists. It was found that the payments of supposed black money were done by these politicians through the brothers. Thus, for the first time in Indian politics, it gave a feeling of open loot all around the public, involving all the major political players being accused of having accepted bribes and also alleged connections about payments being channelized to Hizbul Mujahideen militants in Kashmir. Number 4. Commonwealth Games Scam. In 2010, the Commonwealth Games held in India made more headlines for the controversies and corruption it was involved in than the games itself. New Delhi witnessed the Commonwealth Games scam, one of the major Indian scams, involving an embezzlement of around rupees 70,000 crores, which was done while organizing facilities and infrastructure for the sports event. The Central Vigilance Commission, involved in probing alleged corruption in various Commonwealth Games-related projects, found discrepancies in tenders such as payment to non-existent parties, willful delays in execution of contracts, overinflated prices, and misappropriation of funds. It was estimated that only half of the allotted amount was spent on Indian sportspersons. The whole event was marred with accusations of criminal conspiracy, cheating and forgery, and the chairman of Commonwealth Games 2010, Suresh Kalmadi, was accused of corruption and malpractices. The athletes were allegedly asked to shift to shabby apartments from the ones that were allotted to them by the authorities. Reports of the Central Vigilance Commission, in charge of the investigation of the CWG scam, revealed that Suresh Kalmadi, the chairman of the organizing committee of the games, offered a contract of rupees 141 crores to Swiss Timings for its timing equipment, which was unnecessarily high by rupees 95 crores. All the accused, including Kalmadi, were charged of criminal conspiracy, cheating, forgery for purpose of cheating, and were also charged under sections of Prevention of Corruption Act. Suresh Kalmadi was jailed in 2011. Number 3. Waqf Board Land Scam. Pegged to be possibly the biggest land scam in the country till date, the Karnataka Waqf Board land scam involves the alleged misappropriation of land allocation worth rupees 2,000 billion. In March 2012, Anwar Maniapadi, the chairman of Karnataka State Minorities Commission, submitted a sensational report which alleged 27,000 acres of land which was controlled by Karnataka Waqf Board had been allocated illegally or misappropriated. The value of land which was misappropriated was in tune of 1.5 to 2 lakh crore rupees. The land managed by Waqf Board, a Muslim charitable trust, is typically donated to underprivileged and poor people of Muslim community. However, the report alleged that nearly 50% of the land owned by Waqf Board was misappropriated by politicians and board members in conjunction with real estate mafia at fraction of actual land cost. The investigations for this are currently ongoing. Number 2. 2G Spectrum Scam. The 2G Spectrum case was an alleged scam that the politicians and the private officials under the UPA coalition government in India were accused of committing. In 2008, the government came under scrutiny when it was alleged that they had undercharged mobile telephone companies for frequency allocation licenses that were used to create 2G Spectrum subscriptions, and at the center of this controversy was the former telecom minister A. Raja himself. The CAG had stated that the difference between the money collected and that mandated to be collected was rupees 1.76 trillion. In 2012, the spectrum was declared as unconstitutional and arbitrary by the Supreme Court and led to the cancellation of over 120 licenses. Time magazine listed the India's telecom scandal as one of the top 10 abuses of power. Number 1. Coalgate Scam. The coal allocation scam, or Coalgate, is a political scandal that surfaced in September 2012 when the UPA government was in power. This was a major political scandal concerning the Indian government's allocation of the national coal deposits to public sector enterprises and private companies. The CAG, short for Comptroller and Auditor General, India's audit watchdog, accused the government of illegally allocating 194 coal blocks between 2004 and 2009. This was one of the scams that shook the whole nation from its core, as many bureaucrats and politicians were involved in this. Essentially, the government of India followed followed a system of competitive bidding to allocate coal blocks. However, CAG's investigation revealed that the government followed another route that was opaque and subjective. As a result, CAG noted that both the private and public sector enterprises paid less, resulting in lost revenue for the government. Although the CAG initially estimated the loss of over rupees 10 lakh crore, the final report mentioned the scam amount was rupees 1.86 lakh crore. On September 24, 2014, Supreme Court cancelled allocation of 214 out of 218 coal blocks which were allotted to various companies since 1993. So that's it for this video. See you in the next one.